Now that we know that Jake and Rebecca Haro are pleading not guilty, what's a possible defense for the accused parents?
We have received a copy of that felony complaint. Stipulate Mr. Haro has been advised of his legal and constitutional rights, waive formal reading and advisement, enter not guilty pleas, denounce where appropriate.
Receipt of the complaint in this matter stipulate that her name and date of birth are set forth correctly, and that she has been advised of her legal and constitutional rights. I would ask that not guilty pleas be entered as to both counts in this matter.
The parents of baby Emmanuel Haro faced a judge on Thursday, charged with the murder of their missing 7-month-old son. They pled not guilty to those charges.
Jake and Rebecca Haro are accused of killing Emmanuel and filing a false police report in connection to the infant's disappearance. After pleading not guilty, the couple is going to be held behind bars with bail set at $1 million. Here's some upcoming key dates for Jake and Rebecca Haro. Felony settlement conference that's going to take place pretty soon. September 16th is the date for that. The preliminary hearing will be September 17th, and then the pretrial hearing is going to be September 18th. So important dates coming up in that case. Baby Emmanuel has been missing since August 14th. The location of his remains is still unknown. He is presumed dead by investigators, something the district attorney talked to the media about after Jake and Rebecca Haro were arrested.
Do you believe you know how baby Emmanuel died or was killed, and is there anything you can share?
The filing in this case reflects our belief that baby Emmanuel was abused, a victim of child abuse over time, and that eventually, because of that abuse, he succumbed to those injuries.
Now that we know that Jake and Rebecca Haro are pleading not guilty, what's a possible defense for the accused parents?
Go ahead and bring in our guests for this hour, criminal defense attorneys. We have been wondering where baby Emmanuel is. The parents are not providing any sort of information. How do you take a look at a case like this? Well, due to the fact that Jake Haro has been lying to the police, he's already told him that his son is dead, and that's why he was seen at another location looking for the body off the highway. He's been misleading the police. So, due to the fact that we're dealing with a chronic liar, all right, what we need to do is go back to the digital footprint of the mother and father, and that's going to give us possible leads. Where this baby was taken. Also, remember, before she made this complaint, she was at a location where they were doing it at a construction site, which is ideal because there was cement there, cement ditches being dug, and that she could have dropped off the body there. But again, that digital footprint is going to give them where the locations that baby could possibly be buried. The fact that they both pleaded not guilty is insane because, again, Jake Haro told the police his son is dead and took him to a location to where the body possibly could be. The circumstantial evidence in this case is overwhelming. Let me bring you in on this, that they did plead not guilty. What's a possible defense? What is the strategy behind that? No surprise on the plea from me, at least. That's the constitutional right every defendant has. They're presumed innocent. But here's my mindset from a prosecutor's standpoint. Which one's going to give the information? You know, it looks like the dad had a very serious prior abuse conviction with another child, infant, that left her permanently damaged and bedridden. So he's got a propensity. So he is probably the #1 suspect target in the most of the conduct. So I just wonder how long it's going to be for mom to come forward with her lawyer with information that could be helpful. Assuming the facts are that dad was more culpable, the prosecutors will probably be looking for either of the two with less culpability to provide information about the location of the body, as well as information as to the cause and manner of death for the murder prosecution of the other. So I think that's what prosecutors are thinking about right now, given the fact that they don't have the body. What's your take on this? They plead not guilty. Yeah. Well, first of all, they're not guilty, right? I mean, it's a constitutional right. There could be a video of you robbing the bank, and you could go into court the next morning and say not guilty. It's basically just a legal maneuver. However, I'm going to go a little bit further with what was talking about. I think I can't guarantee this, but based on all my experience, I think the prosecution is likely reaching out to Rebecca's attorneys to see if she would turn on Jake there. I mean, I just don't have a doubt about that. Why wouldn't you? When you're a prosecutor, what you try to do is get the most culpable guy. Yes, you want to convict everyone who's part of the whole conspiracy, everyone who has dirty hands, but you have to triage. You have to say, I want the guy who's the most guilty to go away. For the longest period of time, and it appears in this case, just based on what we know, that would be Jake, because he's got the prior conduct and everything. So I would think the prosecutors are going to Rebecca's attorney saying, look, let's make a deal. She provides the information. She testifies against Jake. She gives us the possible locations of where poor Emmanuel was buried, and we cut her a deal. Now, after the arrest of Jake and Rebecca Haro, District Attorney Michael Hester, he had this to say about the decision to release Jake from custody. This was prior to the disappearance of Emmanuel. Why don't we go ahead and listen to that?
In this case, a judge here in Riverside County, happened to have been a visiting judge from San Bernardino County, gave Mr. Haro a suspended sentence, which means, if I can translate for you what that is, it means that instead of sending him to prison, he chose to give him probation. I will say that it was an outrageous error in judgment by this judge. And I don't have any problem saying that. I'm not attacking the judge personally. That decision was absolutely outrageous. Mr. Haro should have been in prison at the time that this crime happened. And if that judge had done his job as he should have done, Emmanuel would be alive today.
Has reached out to the district attorney's office since that news conference. The office has not been commenting on the matter at this time. I can see why they're not really commenting, gentlemen, but why don't we talk about this? Are we any closer to locating baby Emmanuel, or do you think we're just too far removed from any possible developments on that front? I don't think we're closer to locating baby until, like my partner, like my colleagues just said, until that mother caves in and goes against the father, but she's not going to, because I believe she's suffering from some form of Stockholm syndrome because she's protecting her abuser. Clearly she's a mother of domestic violence, and she's doing everything humanly possible to protect her husband, knowing that her child is dead. Okay, but again, like my colleague said, they're continue to press her. She's the weakest link, but we don't have any other new leads. And this is why that digital footprint of the telephone, the locations is important to find this, baby, because that father has a propensity to lie and will lie and misdirect the police as he has done so far. We just played that soundbite before, some strong words on the front when this case first broke. What's your reaction to that and letting somebody out? We're talking about a 2018 child abuse case with another victim who was 10 weeks old at the time of the allegation, and that particular victim has lifelong permanent injuries and is bedridden. He did not get prison whatsoever, and I have to join in the questions about that particular sentence, because if he was treated and he was sentenced to jail, he would not have been around to do this. And also, Child Protective Services has been in this family's life, including with this particular baby. So questions have to be also as to how that was handled and why more wasn't done by Child Protective Services. Yeah, absolutely. Thanks so much for that feedback. Thank you for being with us. See you next. Take care.